Hello from the Wellness Champions for Change and Project Champ research teams. Thank you for tuning into our discussion. We wanted to share what we learned thanks to your involvement.
As part of our COVID-19 family study, we wanted to know if and why households with children experience changes in food insecurity from before the pandemic compared to early pandemic.
If you have never heard the term food insecurity before, it means that at some point during the last year, a family did not have reliable access to nutritious foods needed to live an active and healthy lifestyle. It has been a big problem in the United States, and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has made this issue even worse.
Our overall goal was to learn about changes in food insecurity risk between pre-pandemic and early pandemic. Based on what we knew about food insecurity from before the pandemic, we expected to find that households with lower incomes, households of color, and rural households would be at a higher risk for food insecurity early in the pandemic. We also expected to find that economic hardships early in the pandemic, like job loss or reduced wages, would increase food insecurity risk. Lastly, we expected to find that programs which provide support to families such as school meals and the CARE stimulus funding will protect households from the risk of early pandemic food insecurity.
Now, we are excited to share what we found from our study. Households of color, households with lower incomes, and households who experience some sort of economic hardship were at a greater risk for food insecurity early in the pandemic. We did not find a change in food insecurity risk based on whether households lived in rural, urban, or suburban areas. We also found that participating in school meal programs and receiving CARE stimulus funding reduced the risk for food insecurity for households who were food secure before the pandemic.
More specifically, we found that receiving CARE stimulus funding reduced the risk of food insecurity by 50%. Participation in school meals reduced the risk of food insecurity by 80%. Households with economic hardship had 2 times the risk of food insecurity, and households of color and households with lower incomes were at a greater risk for food insecurity early in the pandemic.
The chart below illustrates how participation in the CARE stimulus and school meals can impact households' risk of food insecurity from pre to early pandemic. The CARE stimulus funding and school meals had a positive impact on those who were food secure before the pandemic. However, it did not have an effect on those who were food insecure before the pandemic, regardless of whether or not they received these benefits, suggesting that these families need additional support.
So, you may be wondering, okay, this is interesting, but why does this matter? Well, having access to enough safe and nutritious foods helps children be healthy and stay healthy beyond just their physical health. Being food secure also strengthens families' ability to care for themselves and their children. This means that we need to encourage policymakers to think about making national investments and providing additional support to households who are most vulnerable, so these families have resources they need to help their children grow and develop in a healthy way. Doing so can help reduce overall food insecurity risk, reduce pandemic-related food insecurity risk, and reduce disparities in food insecurity risk as well.
We hope this helps you understand why we asked you to take part in our study and what we learned thanks to your help. If you have any questions or want to know more, please feel free to reach out to the email on the screen. Thanks for watching. Have a safe and healthy day.